Hey guys, that was a challenge. I challenged a being of some sort to keep barking. Whether there was a dog barking at me, or a being, I'm still challenging whoever might be staring at me. See if they'll bark again. Not likely. Not under this kind of pressure. They don't usually act. That's why when I turned around, another peep came out. So let me turn around again and see if another peep comes out, and I'll continue on with what I was going to really show you with their theatrics in the background, maybe. Okay? See that? We might get to see some cutting there. Yeah, we're getting to see some for sure work. So what you'll be thinking right now is that could be a different kind of an animal doing that, like a squirrel, a bird, whatever you want to think. You can think bugs if you want to. You know, you go through the process of elimination. You know, these yin-yangs, Dave and Mark, giving me a hard time just because I got theories. It's like, go to another channel. Who cares if you don't like my theories? I'm telling people who might like them, and there's a lot of people who like them. And here's some of my theories. As you see that big hole, see that? Now you can come into this, where you know it's very fine. And then what you do, like I don't have a magnifier on right now. If you get into the magnifying end of it, it's pretty cool. But see how that's dug clean down there? And then you can come around and maybe see that it's cleaned up into there, but they didn't break that piece right off. You know, part of that is to be able to see their finickiness, to see how they're working on old tree branch ear coverage. You know? The character of the flow of bark that's covering it, we see that character a lot like that, but you'll start to realize it doesn't have to, whoops, there we go. It doesn't have to be in that character, like that look. And we'll go back into here. Stick with me, because this is very interesting, guys. So I got a couple of, just thinking about something big time. You know what trees really are? Is they're cold-blooded, right? When I'm walking around out there, in that green grass, just right around in this area, there's a certain temperature. As soon as I walk here, the temperature's changing. Everywhere I walk around here, look at this maze, guys. This is them, and they'll be pretending that our lawnmowers are doing it or whatever, and so on and so forth. So you see how the different depths of that are cut? You see that? On the other side of it there? So you know that ain't a lawnmower the way that did its cutting penetration down to little stuff like that. You'll be thinking, well, that's swelling and stuff like that. Well, this one you could call swelling. Could you call that swelling? Like this damage here is swelling? This bit is scraping? Look at the scraping down deeper than on top of this. So what happened? Oh yes, I didn't finish what I was going to say in this other part. But anyway, so you're seeing a stimulation of growth. You're seeing a stimulation of growth. All this could be a fortress of some sort. To mice? Whatever. It does build the structure here. Below it, you can empty out if you wanted to, within certain distances. So if you walk through this little patch here, these beautiful trees, we're right now on a frisbee throwing course, where they have the golf frisbee, whatever you call that. And these trees hold the temperature different in here. So that's great for us to really understand that. These guys in my region show many times, and I've said this before, a process of trying to make us more rainforest. And if you go with the moss, because like I tell you, is they also transfer all this moss around. This moss doesn't just jump around all over the place. Sure, that could have been fallen from the tree or whatever in its early stages of mossing somewhere. But the point being is, once you start calculating up all the moss, you start to realize that the degrees don't make sense. Like the degree of chipping and mucking on this tree is different than that other one that we were just looking at. And this is a part of a stimulation. A part of it too is there's going to be times where they, depending on where they're going with the ecosystem of it, but they might find there's too much rot. Maybe they find the vegetation in that somehow, and that's why they're taking the light scrapings there or something like that. So let's go look at, where are we at for time? Still at a good time. You guys remember to always just come back and watch the rest of it. People who don't stick around and listen to my words aren't hearing what I have to say about it. So if you just want to be argumentative, then go ahead. Look at that beautifulness, eh? Getting a few pictures, guys. Why not, eh? Beautiful. Put a little person standing there or something. Yeah, so you can see them working on this tree. Scraping away, and if you think that's just birds and stuff, look at the volume of the scraping and stuff, guys. Like every tree covered, and all of them, if we walk through all of this park forest, we would see all those signs. And look, there's all of them over there, from the top to the bottom, different degrees throughout. Here's a tree that's pretty dry in the shelter here, and you know, it's just got its different workings going on. And so when you come into it at different times, you can, sorry about the focus, you can start to look to see if that's like a dug out little ravine, or if they came to there's a air pocket within the bark. But if you look at it, it's not like you see a lot of air pockets, really, is there? There's not a lot of, looks like everything within the thickness of the bark grows tight and doesn't leave air pockets. So if you think about that in particular mark, that mark has really been created out of two ways, maybe. Maybe one way of stretching, and or maybe another way of carved. I'm going with carved or picked. And yeah, in small volumes like this, of course birds would be doing what they're doing, and so on and so forth. So if that was the type of bird that was able to pick like that, how come we're not seeing a lot of those voids then? So this is how I throw you the questions, you guys, at times, and it's really your responsibility to figure these things out. As I was saying today about Dave and Mark there are a couple of guys that come around, and I guess they're doing their own research and so on and so forth, and they just come around and want to give me a hard time because I'm not thinking like they're thinking. It's kind of like, bugger off, man. Go think however you want to think. Do your own great things. Don't bug other people. One of the frisbees. So look at here, it's really gotten chopped into quite well. Give you a size reference there. Might be seeing scratching and stuff like that, or maybe it's just all being picked right off. You know, if we get in there a little bit, where am I looking? I'm looking around in here. If you might tell that, like, that looks almost dented or something, does it? Or that's the pattern of the tree, and then it's just been cleaned there, because it's showing to be pretty cleaned off. Look at that. I've done this test before. I wasn't thinking about doing that. So this is this is more of a longer aged bark. This has been removed, and look at how tight it is. Let's go into this one right here. See that? right here. So it's being picked very clean, just like on the rocks and stuff. See, because if we came out on the outside bark that's doing all the weathering all the time, and then this inside stuff. Yeah. So then you get stuff like that going on where the tree will bleed. Cold-blooded sap. And yeah. You guys whoever stuck through this whole thing here, you're really getting a lesson and a half. There's nobody else out there talking this stuff yet. And when somebody does start talking it, tell them to talk to me about it, and I'll help them along more so, because just coming to the tree isn't enough. Just going to the rock isn't enough. It's huge footsteps. It's huge footsteps, and that's probably them. It could be. That's like, what is that? 5.5 feet off the ground. I personally love these videos. So if you're wondering, why is you videoing so much? Because I personally really like these videos. They're quite educational for me. Within my own work in the field here. Just helps me maybe think of a different trick next time, or maybe I'll come back and look again because I seen something, whatever. Peace out from the Tin Man. So you'll see even little marks like that. There's my foot with my new sandal. But you'll see marks like that, and we always think, oh, weed whacker, lawnmower, whatever. But no, reality, this thing never gets anything worthy anybody driving that close when it comes to the gardening machinery around here. So let's just do a little peek into a couple of trees here. Because right now what you're seeing a lot of thinning out of trees. So that thick one that's right back there is a nice thick one. You go and you look. You go, and what we're seeing a lot of needle thinning. They've got a lot of needle coverage now, where the needles are all right to the trunks of trees on so many of the types of trees and stuff. Leaves grow phenomenally. We got extra branches upon extra branches. Let me just show you that example right here. So please hang on. And so they're needling out right now. So here maybe we would get a sample of one that hadn't been thinned out, whoops, in needling yet. And then you could go up there and you know, maybe do a comparison with the, see, look at right here, like, you see what I'm talking about? And then you see how they're all growing inwards to the tree, in towards the tree like this. That's going to be an accomplished thing by them too. Hopefully you're seeing that. And then the other thing that I wanted to show you just briefly here before we take off is, you see this tree? This tree should grow and have a branch, and maybe have a offshoot or two of a branch or something, and leaves that grow on that branch. But what we're starting to see, if you look up here, is we're starting to see the process of, you got your tree, and it comes up to there. Now you got another branch, and then you got another branch that comes off that way, right? See that one? And then it's probably got branches off. And then those little twigs that are being left behind are like the leaf twigs. And they are going to be becoming another level of branch. And there'll be another level of branch off of them, and another level of branch off of them. You can count easily, I don't know, 6, 7 stages of branches. I haven't gotten into that, looking at it constantly. But you can count 6, 7 levels of branches in lots of our trees. And yeah, that's the thing that people really got to open up about and try to understand what they think a real tree is, what it's really about. Have you ever heard anybody call them cold-blooded before? You know, we give them a right of a being of some sort within science, a living, giving, breathing, bleeding thing, but they're just different than us. But one of the big differences is they're cold-blooded. Peace out from the Tin Man, and you haters and stuff. I don't care. All I do is go quick deletes with you guys all the time now, and whoever continues, I start Mark, I know you have like a number of different AKAs, so if not, they're people just like you, and all I do is delete you people who are trying to be pains. I don't have to relate with it much, but some people, I don't even have a clue who they are. It's really funny because they're just going on, and you see there's like 15 paragraphs of words. I just go delete. As soon as you right off the bat are angry or hateful, you can't get around that. Your attitudes of you trolls and haters, your attitude just shines through. I'm an attitude expert in some ways. I watch attitudes of other beings to watch for my own safety and my own knowledge and stuff like that. Haven't you figured that one out yet? Peace out.